Welcome to Sexual Chemistry, the show where we dismantle taboos and dive deep into the art of connection, intimacy, and empowered pleasure. I'm your host, Zoya Sinclair, and today we're flipping the script, literally and figuratively. This episode is called Women on Top, but don't be fooled into thinking this is just about physical positions. What we're really exploring is something far more transformative. This is about control, confidence, communication, and the power of presence in the most intimate moments of our lives. Throughout history, women's pleasure has too often been sidelined, misunderstood, or quietly edited out of the conversation. But not here. Today we're putting women back at the center, where their voice, desire, and agency aren't just acknowledged, they're celebrated. From ancient tantric wisdom to cutting-edge relationship psychology, cultures across the world have long understood that when women lead in intimacy, something profound happens. Boundaries melt, power shifts, connection deepens, and pleasure, it reaches a whole new level. In this episode, we'll break down the techniques, the mindset, and the magic behind female-led intimacy. Why does it work so well? What does it awaken in both partners? And how can it create a ripple effect that transforms not just sex, but trust, communication, and emotional resonance? So get comfortable, open your mind, and prepare to look at intimacy through a lens of empowerment, equality, and unapologetic pleasure. Because once you understand what it truly means for women to be on top, you'll never go back to the old dynamics again. Let's start with the fundamentals. Why do women on top positions hold such a special place in the realm of intimate pleasure? The answer lies in a beautiful combination of physical anatomy, psychological empowerment, and the dynamics of sexual energy. From a purely physical standpoint, these positions offer something extraordinary: precise control over stimulation. When a woman is on top, she can guide her partner's anatomy toward the most sensitive areas of her vagina, including that famous G-spot. This isn't just about hitting the right spots randomly, it's about intentional, controlled pleasure that she can adjust in real time based on what feels best. But here's where it gets really interesting from a partner's perspective. For men seeking to have multiple experiences or wanting to last longer, the woman on top position offers unique advantages. In this posture, men can relax their pelvic muscles, closely monitor their arousal levels, and if needed, engage specific muscle control to manage sexual tension. Gravity actually assists in redirecting energy away from the penis, allowing men to focus on circulating sexual energy internally rather than rushing toward climax. This creates a beautiful feedback loop. She gets more control over her pleasure, while he gets more control over his timing. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance where both partners can synchronize their experiences for maximum satisfaction. The psychological aspect is equally powerful. Many women find immense satisfaction in these positions because they allow complete control over speed and penetration depth. This control often leads to what researchers call self-directed pleasure optimization. Basically, the ability to fine-tune the experience moment by moment. Now, effective communication becomes crucial in these arrangements. This is where many couples miss the mark, so pay attention here. The key is developing what I call pleasure signals, ways for partners to communicate their state without breaking the flow of intimacy. For instance, when the man is nearing his peak, he should have a way to signal his partner so she can momentarily pause or adjust her movement. Yes, this might seem disruptive initially, but here's the beautiful thing. These pauses actually help prolong the entire encounter, enhancing pleasure for both partners. It's like learning to play a musical instrument together. At first you might hit some wrong notes, but with practice you create beautiful harmony. As couples become more adept at reading each other's signals and managing arousal levels, these interruptions become less frequent and eventually integrate seamlessly into their intimate rhythm. It's not about stopping and starting, it's about creating waves of intensity that build and recede naturally. This communication aspect extends beyond just timing control. In woman on top positions, there's often more face-to-face contact, more opportunity for eye contact, and more space for verbal communication. Partners can guide each other, express preferences, and share in the experience more actively than in many other positions. Let's dive into some specific positions, starting with what I call the foundation collection. These are your go-to positions that every couple should master. First up is the classic woman on top, facing her partner position. This is your standard cowgirl, but don't let the simplicity fool you. Many women find this position incredibly satisfying because it allows for complete control over speed and penetration depth, alongside significant G-spot stimulation. This posture has been known to enable both G-spot and ejaculatory orgasms. That's the holy grail right there. During this position, the man can place his hands on the woman's hips to guide her rhythm, or he can incorporate additional stimulation. His hands are free to explore. He can stimulate her clitoris, caress her breasts, or provide anal stimulation if both partners are comfortable with that. The key here is that his hands become extension tools for pleasure rather than just passive observers. Now, let's flip the script with the woman on top facing away variation, your reverse cowgirl. This introduces a completely different angle where the woman can lean back, altering penetration dynamics to provide G-spot and front wall vaginal stimulation. The visual component here is incredible for the male partner, and here's a pro tip. This position lends itself beautifully to mirror enhancement, allowing both partners to observe the connection from different angles. The man can support her movements with hands on her hips, or he can opt for a combination of breast caressing and clitoral stimulation. The angle in this position often creates what I call targeted pressure. The penis naturally angles toward the front vaginal wall, creating consistent G-spot contact. But here's where we get creative with the thigh master variation. This is an inventive twist on the reverse position where the man remains lying on his back, but with his knees bent instead of legs extended. The woman straddles him facing away, but here's the key. Her knees are positioned so that one rests outside his thigh while the other is between his legs. This configuration gives her incredible control over movement, and she can use his leg or knee for additional support and leverage. If there are height differences making movement challenging, the man can help by placing his hands beneath her buttocks to guide and support her motion. Now we're moving into more advanced territory with positions that require a bit more flexibility, communication, and trust. These are for couples who have mastered the basics and want to explore deeper levels of intimacy and pleasure. Let's start with the Arc de Triomphe. And yes, it's as dramatic as it sounds. The man sits on a bed with his legs extended in front of him. His partner straddles him, making sure both are comfortable, then arches her back as far as possible. This requires significant flexibility, so caution is advised. We don't want any lower back strain here. For stability, she can reach back to grasp her ankles, creating this beautiful arch. The man leans forward and begins moving while she braces against the motion by holding her ankles. He gets a comprehensive view of her body and can engage further by kissing her chest or stimulating other erogenous zones. Then we have what I call the head game. This is definitely advanced level. The woman lies on her back on a flat surface, but here's where it gets interesting. She lifts her legs and back to create a perpendicular line to the ground, almost like she's doing a shoulder stand. Her arms support her lower back, and she grips her ankles for stability. The man kneels before her, positioning his knees near her shoulders. He can steady her by holding her hips, while she can hold onto his thighs for additional support. This upside-down position requires gentleness and constant communication due to its complexity. Women can enhance this experience using their Kegel muscles, contracting and releasing around their partner's penis for incredible sensations. Now, for the position that sounds like something from outer space, the supernova. This starts similar to traditional cowgirl but takes an unexpected turn. Instead of mounting lengthwise, she mounts perpendicular to him. As he nears climax, she slowly grinds on his torso, leaning onto her knees, and gradually moves toward the bed's edge until his head and shoulders are hanging off the side. This creates an incredible rush of blood to his head, leading to intensely powerful sensations. The woman holds complete power in guiding this session, making her the goddess of this particular arrangement. The combination of the unusual angle, the blood flow, and her complete control creates an experience unlike any other. Not every position needs to be a gymnastic feat. Some of the most satisfying experiences come from positions that prioritize comfort and accessibility while still providing incredible pleasure. Let's explore what I call the comfort collection. The right angle position is designed with her comfort in mind and can be enjoyed outside the bedroom, think dining room or kitchen table. The woman lies on the table with her head cushioned for support, while her knees are drawn up slightly toward her chest. The man stands close to the table and gently spreads her legs to initiate connection. She can adjust her position by sliding back slightly on the table to find the perfect angle, and his hands are completely free to explore her body, caress her breasts, or provide additional stimulation as needed. This position is perfect for spontaneous encounters outside the bedroom, while still maintaining the woman's control over angle and depth. The rowing boat creates a more intimate sitting position that allows both partners to face each other. The man sits on the bed while the woman straddles his legs and lowers herself onto him. He then sits up with his knees slightly bent to match her positioning. She aligns herself into a seated position similar to his. This creates an incredibly intimate face-to-face connection where the man can slip his hands beneath her knees to access her breasts or under her bottom to help manage the rhythm. It's like they're rowing a boat together, hence the name, with synchronized movements that build intensity gradually. For ultimate relaxation, there's what I call the hot seat position. This offers a tantalizing blend of woman on top with a touch of rear entry. The male partner lies flat, his legs spread and knees bent, with his feet placed firmly on the surface. The female partner sits atop him, facing away with her back to him while bending her legs similarly. Her hands rest on the surface beside him for support, allowing her to control her movements through a combination of gentle movements and rocking motions. While this position doesn't allow for intense movement, the resultant slow, grinding motion offers immense sensual pleasure. It's perfect for lazy Sunday afternoons or extended intimate sessions. Let's talk about something that can transform any position from good to absolutely incredible: the power of visual and sensory enhancement. This is where couples can really elevate their intimate experiences beyond just the physical mechanics. Mirror placement can add an incredible dimension to woman-on-top positions. When positioned strategically, mirrors allow both partners to observe their connection from different angles, creating a multi-sensory experience that heightens arousal and intimacy. This is particularly effective with rear-facing positions where the visual component becomes a major part of the pleasure. But it's not just about what you see, it's about what you feel, hear, and even smell. In positions like the crab, where she sits atop facing him with her feet flat on either side of his torso, the visual access is incredible. He gets an unobstructed view of their connection, while she experiences the empowerment of complete control. The key with visual enhancement is communication about comfort levels. Some people are naturally exhibitionistic and love being watched, while others might feel self-conscious. Starting slowly with subtle visual elements and building up based on both partners' comfort levels is the way to go. Lighting plays a huge role too. Soft, warm lighting can create an intimate atmosphere while still allowing for visual connection. Candles, dimmed lamps, or even colored lighting can transform the mood entirely. Sound is another often overlooked element. The ability to hear each other's breathing, heartbeats, and vocal expressions becomes much more pronounced in woman-on-top positions because of the proximity and the slower, more controlled movements that these positions often involve. Let's get scientific for a moment and talk about why these positions work so well from an anatomical standpoint. Understanding the why behind the pleasure can help couples optimize their experiences and troubleshoot when things aren't working perfectly. The positioning in woman-on-top variations allows for optimal targeting of the G-spot, that sensitive area located on the front wall of the vagina. When a woman controls the angle and depth, she can direct her partner's anatomy precisely where it feels best. This isn't just random, it's about understanding that the G-spot responds to pressure and massage-like motions rather than just simple in and out movement. In positions like the woman on back, knees up over chest, where the woman lies on her back and lifts her knees close to her chest while maintaining control, the man's anatomy naturally angles toward the front wall of her vagina. He can hold her legs while she guides the rhythm, or elevate her pelvis by placing hands under her hips for even more direct targeting. The rear entry woman lying face down position offers optimal G-spot stimulation from a different approach. The woman lies face down with her legs between his, and when she closes her legs, the vaginal canal creates a tighter grip, enhancing pleasure for both partners. The key here is that she can control the tightness and rhythm while he focuses on the angle of approach. From the male perspective, these positions offer unique advantages for arousal control. The gravitational assistance in redirecting blood flow, combined with the ability to relax pelvic muscles, creates ideal conditions for extended pleasure. This isn't just about lasting longer, it's about creating more intense experiences through better control. The empowerment of women in intimate settings isn't a modern concept. It has deep roots in ancient practices and cultural traditions around the world. Understanding this historical context can add depth and meaning to modern intimate experiences. From a Taoist perspective, there's beautiful wisdom about the natural flow between masculine and feminine energies during intimacy. The philosophy suggests that men embody the active, fiery element, while women represent the fluid, receptive element. This doesn't mean women are passive, quite the opposite. The Taoist approach recommends starting with the man in an active role to kindle the woman's passion and energy. But here's the key insight. Once the female partner's desire intensifies, switching to woman on top positions allows her to channel and direct that powerful energy. It's about recognizing and honoring the natural ebb and flow of sexual energy between partners. The Kama Sutra, that ancient Sanskrit text, includes numerous positions that celebrate female empowerment and control. The Tominagi position, inspired by these teachings, involves careful positioning and communication to create experiences that honor both partners' pleasure equally. These historical perspectives remind us that great intimacy isn't about dominance or submission in a power struggle sense. It's about the dance between giving and receiving, leading and following, all in service of mutual pleasure and connection. Modern research in sexual psychology has confirmed what these ancient traditions knew intuitively, that relationships thrive when both partners feel empowered to express their desires and take active roles in creating pleasure. Let's address the elephant in the room. Not every position works for every couple, and that's perfectly normal. Bodies are different, preferences vary, and sometimes what sounds amazing in theory doesn't quite work in practice. This is where adaptation and creativity become essential. For couples dealing with height differences, positions like the Thigh Master offer solutions. By adjusting leg positioning and using the man's thighs for support and leverage, couples can overcome physical challenges that might make standard positions uncomfortable. Flexibility limitations don't have to be barriers either. The basket position is designed for mutual enjoyment without requiring extreme flexibility. The man sits with his legs extended, maintaining an upright posture while the woman straddles him and uses his shoulders for leverage. He supports her by placing his hands under her buttocks to guide movements. For women who find certain positions tiring, the toad position emphasizes closeness and support. She lies with her knees drawn toward her chest and spread wide, while her partner embraces her from above, wrapping his arms around her neck for support. She can use her feet to grip the back of his legs, creating a secure, supported connection. Comfort issues can often be solved with simple props. Pillows for support, cushions for knee comfort, or even furniture modifications can transform an uncomfortable position into a pleasurable one. The right angle position specifically incorporates table surfaces and cushions to prioritize her comfort, while maintaining the benefits of woman-controlled intimacy. As we've discussed throughout this journey, communication is the foundation of great intimate experiences. But let's talk about advanced communication techniques that can take these positions from good to extraordinary. Developing a pleasure vocabulary with your partner is crucial. This means having words, sounds, or even gentle touches that communicate more, slower, different angle, or perfect, don't stop. These signals need to be established outside the bedroom so they flow naturally during intimate moments. The beauty of face-to-face woman-on-top positions is that they allow for constant nonverbal communication through eye contact, facial expressions, and body language. Learning to read these subtle cues can create an almost telepathic connection between partners. Breath synchronization is another powerful technique. In positions like the rowing boat, where partners are face-to-face in a seated position, matching breathing patterns can create an incredible sense of connection and shared rhythm. This isn't just mystical thinking. Synchronized breathing actually helps couples naturally match their arousal levels and timing. For positions where direct eye contact isn't possible, like the hot seat or reverse variations, developing audio cues becomes important. Learning to communicate through breathing patterns, vocal expressions, and even the rhythm of movement creates a different but equally powerful form of intimate communication. Great intimate experiences engage all the senses, and woman-on-top positions offer unique opportunities for sensory integration that other positions might not provide. Touch becomes multidimensional in these positions. It's not just about genital contact, it's about hand placement, skin-to-skin contact, and the use of different types of touch simultaneously. In positions like the Arc de Triomphe, he can caress her chest while she maintains the physical connection, creating multiple pleasure points simultaneously. Temperature play can be incredibly effective. The skin-to-skin contact in positions like the supernova creates opportunities to experiment with warm oils, cool touches, or even ice play in ways that enhance rather than distract from the primary connection. Scent and taste become more accessible in face-to-face positions. The close proximity allows partners to appreciate each other's natural scents and tastes in ways that can be incredibly arousing and emotionally connecting. Sound takes on new dimensions when the woman is controlling the rhythm and intensity. She can set the pace for breathing, movement, and vocal expression, creating an audio landscape that enhances the physical experience for both partners. As we reach the end of our comprehensive exploration, let's take a moment to integrate everything we've discussed into a cohesive understanding of what makes woman on top positions so special and effective. This isn't ultimately about specific physical positions, it's about empowerment, communication, and the beautiful complexity of human intimate connection. When we give women control over rhythm, depth, angle, and intensity, we're not just changing physical mechanics, we're shifting the entire dynamic of intimate connection towards something more collaborative and mutually satisfying. The positions we've explored today, from the foundational face-to-face variations to the advanced techniques like the supernova and head game, all share common elements. They prioritize communication, they allow for real-time adjustment and optimization, and they create opportunities for both partners to be fully present and engaged in the experience. Remember that mastery comes through practice, patience, and lots of communication. Start with the comfortable, accessible positions like the right angle or rowing boat. Build your communication skills and physical awareness, then gradually explore more advanced techniques as you both feel ready. The historical and cultural perspectives we discussed remind us that this exploration is part of a long human tradition of seeking deeper connection and greater pleasure in our most intimate relationships. You're not just trying new positions, you're participating in an ancient dance of human connection that has been celebrated across cultures and centuries. Most importantly, remember that every couple is unique. What works amazingly for one pair might need modification for another, and that's not just okay, it's expected. The goal isn't to perfectly replicate any specific position, but to use these ideas as starting points for discovering what works best for your unique partnership. If you want to learn more about female-led intimacy, communication strategies, sensual techniques, and the psychology of empowered pleasure, download the Skoob app on the App Store or Google Play to unlock the full experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey into connection, confidence, and chemistry. Remember, pleasure is power, communication is the key, and intimacy is a language we all deserve to speak fluently. Until next time, this has been Sexual Chemistry. Stay curious, stay empowered, and never be afraid to take the lead.